Hey everybody, it's your boy Nerdicane, and I wanted to do another Air Force video. I kind of wanted to sweep up the end of basic training and talk a little bit about jobs, because my boy Megatron Gaming is going into the Air Force soon, and this is stuff that I kind of wanted to tell him about jobs. I don't know if he's picked a job yet, but I'll get into that later part of the video. Right now, I want to talk about some of the things that you should expect towards the end of basic training. I've mentioned before, you're going to be reading this manual, this Air Force manual, a lot. And there's going to be a big test at the end of basic training. About the end of week 5, you're going to take this big test. And they put a lot of emphasis on it, and it's a lot of pressure. But if you've listened to the videos before, the Air Force basic training is about mental pressure. Can you handle the mental pressure that they're going to put on you and that you're going to get in your job at times? The test is not that hard as long as you read and consume the data, the information in the manual that you're reading. Don't gloss it over. Don't blow it off, because it's going to be verbatim out of that book. So make sure you've read that book numerous times. That way you don't want to be... The most embarrassing thing for me, and it's kind of what I feared the most, is being recycled. And especially late in the game, when it's week 4 or week 5. Because if you get recycled, you got to think about it. Your parents have made plans. They bought tickets to come out and see you, possibly. And if you get recycled, you get sent back 2 weeks. So you have to call them up and tell them, hey, change of plans. This is going to take 2 weeks longer than I thought. And that's on you. That's, if you've been recycled, they don't recycle people by mistake. You have to clear cut, as I've talked about in other videos. You have to have clear-cut screwed up and got recycled. Everybody who I've known who I've seen who's gotten recycled had earned it. They really did earn it. But yeah, that would be like the most embarrassing thing. But towards the end of basic training, it gets kind of cool because your TI starts to know who you are, and he starts to respect you because you've made it that far. You didn't crack, you didn't fall out, you didn't freak out, And he starts to say, okay, there's a point where most TIs with their trainees, they'll kind of like give you a shit test. And if you pass, then they feel good about moving you along. They're like, okay, this guy's going to be all right. Generally, the people who get recycled are the guys who the TI looked at and was like, yeah, this guy's kind of a scumbag. Let me give him 2 more weeks to think about it. But your TI is going to start respecting you more because you've almost made it. Don't think you've made it, because I've seen people get recycled on the last friggin' day. I've heard of one guy who got recycled after he graduated. After he walked, he did something stupid while he was on base pass. Okay, base pass. Let me talk about this. Base pass. After you do your walk on the bomb run for graduation, you're going to get base pass, and it's going to be the first taste of freedom that you've had in 6 weeks, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be terrifying all at the same time. You're going to be like you just got out of prison, so it's going to be weird. Just be prepared for that. When I went through, they did something to us. They did a sort of a special diet. They wanted to test out a special diet on it. We were on a very, very low-carb diet, and it was strange. I guess I'll talk about the food a little bit in another one. But yeah, it was a weird diet, and we all lost a lot of weight. It was really not a whole lot of fat, not a whole lot of carbohydrates. Very, very lean. So when I got base passed, I was just walking around base, and I didn't have a girlfriend. My mom came, but she had left. She had to leave after the bomb run, and but it's kind of funny because I get there and we went to the bowling alley. The bowling alley is like the spot that everybody goes when you don't really have a girlfriend to go have sex with in a hotel room. Everybody sort of goes to the BX. They go see what's on the base. Maybe they go see a movie. They'll go, and a popular spot is the bowling alley. I had a bowling alley burger. I had a burger from the bowling alley, and it was the most amazing hamburger I've ever eaten at any point in my life. It was incredible because I'd spent 6 weeks on this diet that they had us on, and then I go to the base pass and I get a burger, and it was amazing. It was incredible. I look back at it now, I was like, there was nothing special about that burger. It was a greasy, it was a greasy bowling alley burger, but because of the situation, that's what made it so delicious. And that's probably a theme that I'll go to in when I do talk about the food in the Air Force in a later video. But so you get all that stuff done. Usually the last week they send you to babysit. They send you to go do dorm guard in a dorm of rainbows. Give them a little bit of shit. Kind of be the big bro and prepare them for some of the stuff, but don't do the stuff that they did to me, because that was kind of an a-hole thing. But yeah, I remember the last day. Well, yeah, I think it was the last day of basic training when we were in the dorms. We were setting up the sheets, and yes, we short sheeted all the beds. But I don't know if it was divine intervention, hand of God, random act of luck, but the heater in the 320th went out. Or not the heater, sorry. We're in the middle of summer. You don't need a heater in San Antonio. The air conditioning went out in the entire building. And it was hot as balls. I mean, this was June, July, August. This is middle August in San Antonio. It was a little hot. So everybody opened the windows. I went and took a shower and to cool off, I took a nice cold shower. And the funny thing is when I came out and a lot of the dudes were sitting on top of their lockers. And the lockers are tall. The lockers are like 7 feet tall. So they're sitting on top of the lockers, leaning on the windows. The windows had been opened up. They were those old style windows that hinged at the top and they kind of folded out. And a lot of the dudes were up there. And I went out there and I was like, what the hell's going on? Why is so many guys up there? So finally my buddy calls me over. He goes, hey man, he said, be cool, but come up here. So I went up there, and we were, as I said before, we were on the top dorm. We were at the top of the dorms. At the bottom dorm, across the way, there was a female flight. That's where they stopped. And the reason I know that is because their air conditioning was out too. And they had their windows open. And they were getting out of the showers. So it was, it was kind of a creepy peeping Tom thing, but you spend 6 weeks not even talking to a woman, and the only thing you want to do is see a woman. And yeah, it was kind of this thing where we all got a nice little peek at the ladies over there. But I don't know who that flight was, but I apologize and I thank you at the same time. That was kind of what we needed at that point. So I want to talk about jobs. You picked your job about 2 or 3 weeks into basic training. I really kind of think that's unfair because you don't know a whole lot about the Air Force jobs. You don't really know. There are jobs that sound good, but really aren't. Like security police sounds good. You get to wear a beret. You get to carry a gun. You get, you're basically the police of the Air Force. It sounds good, and it is good if you ever want to become just a policeman. If you want to join a police force after you get out, that's a pretty good job to do. It's like police light. It's a good way to get your feet wet and get in there. But it sounds good. It's a shit job. I knew a lot of guys who were security police. One of them told me, this was in England. Okay, C5 was coming in. If you don't know what C5 is, look that up. So a C5 was coming in. Some VIP was on the plane. So he and 4 of his buddies had to go out to a pad. This is winter in the cold in England. And it was raining, and it was cold. They had to go out there and guard the pad a couple hours before this plane got in. They're just standing there guarding a pad where a C5 is going to land and then park, get refueled, get checked out, and then go on its way. I know this, and I know they were out there because there was some cargo that had to come off the plane. They sent me out there in an open-air forklift in the rain, in the cold, and I had to wait on that plane as well. So there I am, freezing my ass off with these other security police. And it's not like they can hang out with each other. They have to stand at different points of the pad. They have to stand on different sides of the pad. and just basically hold their gun, guard the pad, and shiver their ass off. But I was out there too, and we waited out there for a good hour and a half when somebody comes over the radio and goes, "Hey, the plane's been diverted to Mildenhall." Mildenhall was like 2-3 miles away. Actually, I think it was 4 miles away. The plane's been diverted to Mildenhall. You guys can come in. We stood out there in the rain, in the freezing cold rain, for no damn reason. That was an anomaly for me. It was the norm for them. So security police isn't that great of a job. I was heavy equipment. I was 2T1. That was a heavy equipment operator in vehicle operations. Doesn't sound like a great job. You drive a lot of buses and you drive a lot of aircrew out to the planes. Doesn't sound like a good job. It's a great job. It's not a real. It was a job that, yes, you can go in the civilian world and make some good money, but I didn't, because I didn't want to do that. But it was a really good job. It was a really fun job. I got to do a lot of things that the normal troop didn't get to do. Because it was heavy equipment, because it was a tractor-trailer driver, a lot of times you spent off base. So you're off base, you're unsupervised, you kind of got to wipe your own butt. You make your own decisions. So that was the freedom that I had out there in doing that. And it was a really cool job. I got to see a lot of really cool things. And I think I'll talk about my job in other videos later on, but that's a really cool job. Probably one of the best jobs to do in the Air Force. ATC, ATC, air traffic control. That's a great job. That's a great job line to get into. Almost anything in the med group is really good. Now, med group has an extra bonus. If you're a dude and you like the ladies, med group is full of women. The largest percentage of women in the Air Force are in med group, at least when I was in. So that's a really good job to have. Anytime there was a party at the med group dorms, you know I was going there. Let's see, what else? Loadmaster. Loadmaster's a great job. There are some services. It's kind of a shit job. You're well fed, and it is kind of a shit job. Now that I think about it. But there are other ones. I think the best resource is Reddit's a great resource. I mean, Reddit is a bunch of normie crap, soaked with SJWism. But if you're wondering about what job you should take and you're going into the Air Force, I think Reddit is a good place to go to one of the subs like Air Force, whatever, veterans, and ask them, what is a good job to do in the Air Force? Tell them what you want, tell them what you're interested in, and then there's probably jobs out there that are really good that some of these vets could tell you, oh yeah, that's a great job. It's a great job to do, great job to have. And then there's other ones, like I said, with security police that sound good, but are absolutely shit. Okay. Oh, one more thing I wanted to, one more little tidbit I wanted to give. If you should do it. You should do it. Okay. Try out for pararescue. Try out for the special forces. Okay. Here's why. I think every young man should know how tough they are. You should have some sort of shit test, some sort of physical test in your life, and you'll get it. So if you try out for special forces and you get it, you get promoted to the rank of A1C. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you start getting those paychecks, and it's not an airman basic paycheck, it's an A1C paycheck, it's quite a bit different. If you wash out, you can wash out day one of the pararescue training, and you get to keep your rank. They don't bust you back down to an airman basic. If you make it, you get in, you're promoted to A1C. That's 2 stripes, and your pay gets bumped up. But if you wash out and, you should go as hard as you can, go as long as you can to see, just to test yourself. They're going to have tryouts. I think it's week 4 or 5 of basic training. They're going to have the tryouts. Go do it. Go try it. If you make it, do it. You can pick another job later. Yeah, that's all I got for jobs on this one. Maybe I'll do another one on this as well. But that's all I got for this one. Thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. You guys go have a good day. Megatron Gaming. Go do your homework and find out what kind of job you want to do, okay? Bye.